fan club, thank you. I am so excited to be here. Greetings from Canada, and thank you for letting us back in. I kind of hope your government figures out that you cannot keep out Canadian cold weather by closing the border. Doesn't work that way, but it is worth a shot. It does get pretty cold up there, but it's not always cold. And when it's warm, I love to be in the garden. Now, you may not love gardening, but if you were in the product showcase, you probably saw that understanding some things about the garden can help you understand doTERRA's new microbiome products. So lean in as I share with you some things that I've learned about gardening. Recently, I picked up a book by Elliot Coleman called The New Organic Grower. In it, he explains that gardening best practices over the years have come full circle, going back to a focus on strengthening the growing environment. It basically boils down to this: healthy soil equals healthy plants equals healthy humans. So the goal is to strengthen the soil by enriching it and making sure that microorganisms are thriving in that soil. Now, he goes on to say this, that it's not enough to have a simplistic us versus them view of garden pests. We shouldn't see them as enemies to be destroyed, but as indicators to be heeded. Well, then a short time later, I picked up a book that Dr. O recommended by Prescott and Logan, and it said this: we first saw the microbial world as a dangerous, frightening world filled with countless hordes of tiny enemies, all bent on human destruction. We began waging war. We mistook for sinister foes our ancient friends, friends who had been sustaining us since the very dawn of our time on Earth. And then this: microbes are the core of all ecosystems, large and small. Except these quotes weren't from a book on organic gardening. These were from a book on human health, describing how the approach to modern medicine needs rethinking. Leading experts in both gardening and health are coming to the same discoveries. And I learned that I had been learning about the microbiome right in my garden. So let me share with you 3 key things that I learned from my garden that are directly applicable to your health. First, plant and human health depends on microorganisms. Second, diversity is vital. And third, when it comes to addressing issues, the approach should be restore and refill instead of aim and kill. Well, first, health depends on microorganisms. To help you to better understand the power of microorganisms, I want to give you a relatable example. It's a little sciencey, but stick with me. I promise it will benefit you. In science class, we learned about something called photosynthesis, which, as described by my 12-year-old son, is the process where a plant takes sun, carbon dioxide, and water and exchanges it and turns it into food and oxygen. But did you know that this process also requires nitrogen? Now, nitrogen is always in the air, but plants are not able to use nitrogen as a gas. So, how do they get nitrogen? Well, that's the job of nitrogen-fixing bacteria. They convert nitrogen into a solid form so that it's usable by the plants. The bacteria happily do this for the plant in exchange for sugars. Neither the plant nor the bacteria can exist without the other, and none of us would be here without their cooperation. An incredible example of how life on Earth is truly a group effort with microorganisms. Well, there are similar microbial partnerships happening within your own body. In their book, The Secret Life of Your Microbiome, Prescott and Logan explain it this way: microbes are the ensemble of life. Now, as you learned, a community of microorganisms like fungi, bacteria, and viruses that live together in a specific place is called a microbiome. And you have microbiomes all throughout your body, in places like your nose, your gut, your skin, and your mouth. And you wouldn't be alive without them. Cool fact, there are about the same number of microbes residing in and on the human body as there are human cells. There are 100,000 times more microbes in just your gut than there are people on Earth. And if you were to take all of your gut microbes and put them together into an organ, they would weigh between 2 and 6 pounds. Just to put that into perspective, your brain weighs in at about 2.5 pounds. Truly, there's no doubt that microbes play a significant part in our bodies, but the role that they play is only just beginning to be understood. What we know is that some of the benefits of microbes to us include things like nutrient extraction, detoxifying dangerous chemicals that we ingest, and regulation of our metabolism and immune system. These are huge benefits, but on the other side, when there's disturbances or alterations in the microbiome, it can cause some big problems. So many are struggling with and looking for answers to these significant health issues. Could it be that, like Dorothy discovered in The Wizard of Oz, the answer has been with us all along? Not at our feet, but in our gut, and our nose, and our mouth, and our skin. While it's hard to know exactly what reestablishing microbial balance will do for us, this picture from my garden might help. These are 2 zucchini plants planted from the exact same seeds at the exact same time in 2 adjacent garden boxes. This shows them to scale. Now, if you notice, the one on the left is about 1/5 of the size of the one on the right. Not only that, but at the time of taking this photo, the one on the right had been giving me big, tasty zucchinis for about 3 weeks. The one on the left, just working on its first offering. What's the difference? Well, in early spring, I ordered something called living soil. Living soil is packed full of incredible soil amendments that make it alive with beneficial microbes. I'm sure you guessed it. The plant on the right was planted in living soil. Now, if this is what happens when microbial balance and the microbiomes are reestablished in the soil for plants, what benefit might there be to us? Maybe the key to thriving as humans also lies in restoring our microbiomes. Well, I had the opportunity to be part of a preliminary trial of doTERRA's new microbiome products. I took PB Restore for 4 weeks. PB Restore, as you learned, is a broad-spectrum microbiome product that supports microbiomes throughout the body, including the skin. So I had to take before and after photos of my face. Now, I was not excited about this, mostly because the idea of taking a makeup-free photo of myself that basically says, hey, look how awful I looked before, didn't really excite me. But I also didn't think that taking a supplement internally for 4 weeks would make much of a difference to my skin. But when I went to submit the after photos, I thought, I actually think there is a difference. So, with humility, I submit to you my awesome before and after photos. Don't laugh. The photos aren't perfect, But what I really loved was that as I was balancing the microbiomes of my body for my overall health, I ended up with better looking skin too. Health, including skin health, really does depend on microbiomes. Second, diversity is vital. Now, the photos I showed you of the zucchini plants highlight the important effects of increasing biodiversity of microbes in the soil. Well, similarly, our bodies do best with diversity. The American Gut Project is a large, ongoing population study. Researchers have found that people who eat a large variety of plant foods have a greater diversity of bacteria in their stool and higher amounts of fatty acids and other essential nutrients. So the recommendation coming from this study is to include 30 plant-based foods per week. Now, for many people, that's a lot. And when you're busy, breakfast cereal seems like a perfectly reasonable dinner option. Well, thankfully, we have two incredible tools to support us to help us to keep that diversity in our diets: the Lifelong Vitality Pack, and now PB Restore and Assist Plus. The Lifelong Vitality Pack has been supplying us with essential nutrients, antioxidants, and fatty acids, and the PB line will ensure that we maintain a diverse microbiome population throughout our bodies. PB Assist Plus, the new one, as you just learned, includes the 6 strains from the previous PB Assist Junior with another 7 strains for a total of 7 billion live cells of 13 strains of friendly flora. And PB Restore delivers 2.5 times that number for a total of 18 billion CFUs of active probiotics. In addition, both supplements include a prebiotic that help the probiotics to flourish, and PB Restore has a postbiotic. That's diversity. The more I learn about the importance of diversity to the diet and to our microbiomes, the more I am grateful that doTERRA has, as usual, been running ahead and preparing the way. Well, my third point is that our focus should be restore and refill instead of aim and kill. In health, as in gardening, we get the best long-term results when we focus our efforts on restoring what's been broken down and refilling what's lacking. In gardening, it boils down to healthy soil equals healthy plants equals healthy humans. Now, if you think of all the microbiomes of your body as your soil, and you make it your goal to build that soil up, instead of just trying to shoot and kill symptoms or bad bugs, you are going to optimize your health. Discoveries in both gardening and human health continue to show us that the kill that bug approach is really not serving us. In his book, The Mind-Gut Connection, Emran Mayer writes this about the medical world's methods. He says, physicians took a scorched earth approach, using toxic chemicals and other extreme measures to attack health issues with increasing force. A similar strategy was used to combat infections, and that ended up destroying huge numbers of helpful bacteria. What's the result? Ever-increasing healthcare costs, but we are not well physically or mentally. It would seem that the aim and kill approach is mostly killing us. Well, as evidence continues to point us toward restore and refill, be assured that doTERRA is leading the way. For those of you familiar with the wellness pyramid, you'll know doTERRA has been always focused on this approach. This pyramid shows that the emphasis is on strengthening the person with good nutrition and digestion as the foundation. The expanded PB product line will equip us better than ever to strengthen that foundation and restore and refill our bodies. So what are the takeaways? Well, first, focus on strengthening your microbiome daily because your health depends on your microbiomes. Take PB Restore and Assist Plus as part of your daily routine. Second, remember that diversity is vital. Eat a diverse range of colorful foods, and since it's hard for any of us to get everything we need in the right proportions, take the Lifelong Vitality Pack as well. And third, reprogram your approach from aim and kill to restore and refill. Many people don't choose this approach in either gardening or health because we've been trained to expect instant fixes. But our clamoring for the convenient is killing us. We need to be willing to step back, reflect, assess, and get about the hard work of restoring what's been broken down. If you feel overwhelmed when you consider how far you have to go, remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. But the second best time is today. Thanks very much.